guys, E.V. Darrell. So here we are in South Florida. So I wanted to talk to you about just a couple of things today. So one of them funny, one of them not so funny. I'm going to end up taking some more video of the devastation down here. Hurricane Milton came ashore up at Siesta Key, but the winds and we were on what they call the dirty side, the southeast side. So it was probably, the hurricane came ashore probably 30, 40 miles north of us, but this was really bad. There was a 9-foot surge into Charlotte Harbor. We have a condo in Port Charlotte, Florida, and it's Punta Gorda. Port Charlotte is kind of a combo, and there's a harbor right through there. The surge, since it was an onshore surge as it came onshore, there was a 9-foot water surge. We don't have to worry about that. First off, we're not on the water. We are probably a half a mile from the water. We're good. Secondly, I can point outside, we're a second floor condo, okay? So if the water ever got 25 or 30 feet high, I'd be worried, or 40 feet high, but I'm okay. We're a second floor condo, okay? So no issues with any of that. I was concerned during the hurricane. I watched the Weather Channel, and Jim Cantore was at Sunseeker Resort, which is an Allegiant resort that is on the harbor in Charlotte Harbor. That, as the crow flies, is probably between a half a mile and 3/4 of a mile from our house. So if any of you watch the Weather Channel, you will know he was there, and there was heavy surge because that's on the water. But we drove around the other day, and I didn't get enough video. We were kind of in a short of time. We were trying to get places, and I will show you. There are boats that used to be in the harbor that have now been across shore, and I don't know if they're 1, 2, 3 blocks away. Some of them just a block off the water, off the harbor, but they are literally, some of them across the road. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they're still there. And I know I've been talking to family down here, and they've removed some, but we saw numerous ones. So I will try in the next few days to actually get some video of those. I'll specifically drive to those areas. The debris along the roadway, people had to, their houses were flooded, appliances and just drywall and, everything from a hurricane. And the companies have been doing really good about taking some garbage away, but there is just so much damage, and you have to tear out drywall and your walls and your appliances and just cabinetry and everything. So that was a very sad thing to see. And I can't imagine up towards Sarasota and Siesta Key, the devastation had to be even worse. I don't know. We haven't been up that way. But the second thing I want to tell you, yesterday, my wife and I took a day trip. We have friends that are staying on Marco Island for a couple weeks. So we drove, it's 88 miles down to Marco Island from our condo. It's a long ways. But we took I think it was a 7:45 a.m. cruise from Marco to an island called Key Waden. And we went to that island. It's Shelling Island. It's uninhabited, I think. Well, they go and dump you off. There's nothing there. There's nothing. Not even restrooms on the island. And so they drop you off. For 4 hours, we did shelling. My wife got numerous shells. Yeah, a lot. And we love to shell. We've done that for 25, 30 years on Sanibel Island, maybe 35 years. So we did that, had a great time, went out to lunch with our friends because we spent the day with them, had a great time, went out a late afternoon lunch with them, did some shopping at a couple stores. But the funny part was, all the way to Florida with the Tesla, it mapped us all the way down. Here's the chargers, here's this, no issues whatsoever. Minimum of 8 chargers at every stop, sometimes 12, sometimes 16, And we were just like, oh, that's just so awesome. So on the way back from Marco Island, I told my wife, because we don't have charging at our condo, I said we need to stop at the Wawa in Punta Gorda, Florida. That's our closest supercharger. So I pulled it up on the map in case it needed to warm up the battery, which it was 90 degrees yesterday. No need for that. But it could precondition the battery if it would have needed to. It didn't. And we were on our way back about, probably 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock 5 o'clock, I think. And I pulled up the charger, and it tells you, Tesla is so advanced, it tells you how many available chargers there are. And out of 8, it popped up and said there's 3 available chargers. Nice. So I jump off the interstate. It's right near the Punta Gorda airport. I pull over, and as I circle around into the parking lot, all 8 chargers are full. Now, the Wawa doesn't have tons of space, or they would have probably put 16 chargers in there. They just added some CCS chargers on the backside. They're just in a corner, really tight spot. There's not a big parking lot. The gas pumps are kind of crammed in there. They have a perfect spot for a gas station. And, it's a sub shop, if you don't know what a Wawa is, that just happens to sell gasoline. They have some of the best subs I've ever had in my life. Anyway, again, there's a rabbit hole. See what happens when you get old? So anyway, all 8 of them are full. So thankfully across, literally where everybody was backed in, across from that, it was a few spots were open, nobody was around, and no one was waiting. I was number 9. So I pulled up and parked, and I got out, and I'm like, this is the first time I've ever had to wait. Now, I haven't owned a Tesla more than a few months, but this is the first time I've ever had to wait, even though the mapping said there was 3 available chargers. One of them was a Cybertruck, which, has a, 180 kilowatt battery. That was going to charge for quite some time. And the rest were just Model X, Model Ys, Model 3s. So I get out and I'm just kind of staring around like, wow. And then another Tesla pulls in with a Model Y like ours. And the lady gets out and says, she seems stunned too. She goes, are you waiting? I said, yeah, I said, and it said on the page, there were 3 available chargers. There's not, they were all plugged in and charging. I looked to make sure 3 guys didn't unplug and go back in and order their sandwich or something. Now, thankfully, it had been a long, long day. It's 5 o'clock. We've been up since 4:50 a.m. to take off and drive an hour and 32 minutes to Marco and spend the day down there. We had a blast. But I'm within a few miles of home, 4 or 5 miles from home. I'm kind of tired. I'm ready to just be done. So, and I stood there maybe 2 minutes, and a guy, which was really cool, a guy in one of the Teslas got out, unplugged, and he looked at me. He's like, I'm like, okay, perfect. He pulled out. I backed literally over and into his spot, plugged it in, and immediately it jumped up to drawing 253 kilowatts, I think, right away. And I told my wife, I said, I don't want to, we're not going to spend all day here. 10 minutes is all I need. She went to the restroom. I went to the restroom. When I came out of the restroom, the people who had waited, they were in a spot as well. This is known, the Punta Gorda one, I've known this. Last year when I rented my Model 3 from Hertz, it is called a high-use charger. It probably couldn't have been a better place for a charger. Near the airport, near food, near everything. It's right off the interstate. It's a perfect location. They should have 16 chargers. But anyway, they like to cap you at 80%. I mean, you can override it if you feel the need to go higher. I don't know why you would, because there's both chargers north and south on I-75. But anywho, literally we were there 10, maybe 12 minutes, something like that. And I was already at, I want to say, I had went from 11, I was down to 11% charge. I went from 11 to, I think I was at 47%, 48% charge in 10 minutes. I mean, it literally was just charging like awesome. And so I told her, I said, that takes us to a 50% charge, literally. We don't. And I think it was about 12 minutes. It was pretty close to 50%. So we just, and another car had pulled in and they were full and it was waiting. So I waved to them and I jumped in the car and I left. But also what I wanted to tell you is I noticed there were several Model 3s there that were there when we arrived and they were still there when we left. And I don't know what they were doing. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't roll in 2 minutes before I did, but they were all sitting in their car. A couple of them were eating. And I'm like, your car's charging. Are you trying to charge to 100% or something? I mean, because as you know, the higher the level of the charge, the slower and the slower and the slower it charges. I don't know if they overrode the 80% charge and tried to move it up to 100, or if they charge a lot slower, or if they were, I couldn't tell if they were older Model 3s. I don't know. But I'm thinking, we might have been there 12 minutes. But I mean, there's no reason if they were here 20, and they didn't look like they were in any hurry to leave. All three of the Model 3s that I saw, I was like, what are you sitting here? So I know you came in before me, unless you rolled in at 0%. I mean, you got to be up at 75 or 80% already. You have to be. So anyway, I kind of thought that was a funny story. I'd never waited on a Tesla charger before. And does that mean that Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area needs to have another? We have a Wawa in Port Charlotte here. I mean, maybe they need to throw 8 or 12 chargers here. Now this is off the interstate though, further. So, I mean, I like them when they're right on the interstate. So you just pull off, boom, charge, and you're out. But yeah. So anyway, I just want to make a quick video and let you know we're here. We've kind of gotten a little bit of rest. We've had some stuff to do, so I haven't had a chance to really videotape anything. But instead of seeing my ugly mug, we're going to start. So from here on out, when I go places, I'm going to start videotaping. I want to get some video and upload from the damage around the harbor and the area that I've seen, which again, I spent 5 to 10 minutes driving through is all I did. I just didn't have time to videotape it. And just, it's amazing the damage that hurricanes can do and set people back, because Hurricane Helene came up and it was like 150 miles offshore. Was that a couple weeks before Milton? Excuse me. And we had a lot of rain damage and wind damage from that. And it was 150 miles offshore when it went by here up towards the Big Bend. I mean, you feel bad. Everybody just puts all their stuff out at the street, and then comes Milton and sends it. If it was near the water, all that stuff floated away. Where to? I have no idea where it floated. It landed in somebody's yard. So, but anyway, enough said. I just want to touch base with you and let you know all is good. We're here, and we're looking forward to making some good videos, and I'll keep you guys updated. So stay safe and keep making good choices, people.